Hello. We are going live today talking about improving our resilience to stress because, yes, in this crazy time, something that maybe many of us didn't even think would ever happen. Um, we may be getting some fear from, things, what could happen, worrying about many different things. So, you guys chose this topic when I put the poll in the group, so I was really surprised by this. So this is going to be really fun. So if you have any questions along the way, just let me know. I have some notes that I'll be following because I can't remember everything I'd want to give you on this topic. So glad to see you guys here, and if you're watching the replay, add a comment and add a question, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. So let's get started. So when it comes to improving our stress response and living more grounded, I'll use that word. The first thing that we need to do is understand the triggers and our own triggers that give us a stress response, and understanding the lenses through which we see the world. And our lenses through which we see the world are created from our fears, our experiences, whether that be good or bad. Sometimes somebody can have a really beautiful lens in which through which they see the world because they've had a lot of positive experiences. They choose to focus on the positive. And so, those are the people that are going to be more optimistic. And, those of us that have been shaped more so by traumas, and haven't really recovered from certain betrayals and things like that, or disappointments, then sometimes that lens can be a little bit more clouded. So when something happens, such as stuff that's going on right now, that lens that we have really affects how we react, how we perceive what's going on, how big of a threat this is. So if you perceive something to be quite a threat, then that stress response is going to be higher. So first we need to understand, why we're perceiving something. And I'm not just talking about what's going on right now, I'm talking about everything in general. And ask yourself why this is a threat to you and how severe of a threat this is to you. And, think about what fears and experiences that you have had, or that you currently have. If we're talking about fears that are shaping the way that you are feeling something, that you are reacting to something. And what we have to do is weed through what we've been taught versus what we know to be true. So this is something else. So think about that, weeding through what we've been taught versus what we know to be true for ourselves, right? So, maybe you grew up and your parents taught you one concept, and this was a big prevalent concept in your family, and this whole thing you perceive as truth. But maybe as you grow older, you have more life experiences and you kind of see that stuff as maybe not so true, and then you start living your own truth. And when you start living your own truth, the lens through which you see the world can change. So number one, when we're talking about improving our resilience to stress, is understanding these triggers, the lens through which we see the world, and that can be multiple things, our fears and our experiences. So understanding why you are perceiving or receiving something in a certain way. Okay, number two. So number two is becoming aware of the things that trigger us into a stress response. And and our reaction to them. So I like to think about, oh wait, hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah. Okay. So when we're able to become aware, so if something happens that, somebody says something to you or something's happening, and you can become aware in that moment. If you can think about, so I guess I am getting into reacting versus responding. That was my number 3, but I'm realizing these two are very closely tied together. So in that moment, a lot of times many of us will react to something, we'll have an immediate physical reaction, our body will feel it, and will speak in that way, and will act in that way, the way that we are feeling about it and reacting towards something, towards this trigger. So if you can create some space in between what's triggering you and your reaction, in between there should be awareness. So before you let something create that adrenaline stress response in you, try and create this window of awareness. The window of awareness is going to be you becoming the observer of what's going on. So you become the observer of yourself and how you are reacting to this trigger. And so in that window that we have, you are the observer. You're observing yourself. Okay, how do I feel about this? I just received this information. And in that moment, you have the choice to ground yourself and find your center and not get all uppity about something. So, we can say finding our center, staying grounded. I really like the idea of becoming the observer there. And so this goes into it gives us a space to be able to respond to something versus react to something. So the reaction, you didn't think about something, it's a physical reaction, and you feel it viscerally, you respond that way because you didn't think about it. You didn't take the time to ground yourself first and become the observer first. When you give yourself the gift of being able to do that, you can take a deep breath. You can think about how you want to actually respond to this trigger or to this person, to this situation. You have the choice to not let that adrenaline release in your body. And I'll tell you, this is something that was really big for me because growing up, my father was Italian, really red-faced, hot-headed, and I grew up seeing that. So anytime he got mad at us or something happened that he got mad at something, he immediately switched. A switch went on where he was immediately red-faced, immediately angry, and expressing that anger out towards this situation, towards the person, towards us. I grew up with that. That is one of the, I don't want to say lenses that I created, but it was one of the habits that I took on as I grew up and as I became an adult. And it was in my mid-20s, after I got married, when I realized that I was perpetuating this pattern, that I was doing the exact same thing. And, once I started doing some more spiritual stuff, Qigong, that sort of thing, I learned to ground myself. I felt doing Qigong and things like that, I was able to feel what felt good. That was probably one of the first times I was ever really, really grounded. And so that taught me that in those situations that didn't feel good to me and I didn't want to feel that way. So I was able to get out of that. Sure, every once in a while. Do I do this 100% what I'm explaining to you? Probably not. I am not perfect, but these are some of the things that I've learned when it comes to stress because, yeah, I can go into some other things, but I'll just keep moving on. So we've talked about what you can do in that moment. Now let's talk about what you can do daily. So in order to help yourself in that moment, to create that window for you to become the observer of what's going on, I should check in. I'm reading my list to see if you guys are. Oh, hi. Hi, Erin. Hi, Marcy. Glad you guys are here. Yes, Erin, love the concept of being the observer to control the stress. That's something that you and I have been talking about recently. So yeah, awesome. So if you guys are here, say hi. I'm looking at my notes on the other page, so I'll remember to check in here where you guys are. And let me know if you have any specific questions. So yeah, so in order to create that window for you to be able to respond, think about how you're feeling versus reacting right away, in order to get to that place, it really helps to have a daily grounding or daily spiritual practice. Because for one, those things are going to be these things that we're going to talk about that will help you do that, which you already know some of them, like, meditation's one. That will be helpful in the moment as a band-aid. So if something's happening, you can be like, oh, okay, I'm going to use one of these tools that I know, and I'm going to calm myself down. And that's great. And not all of us, like I said, we're not always going to be able to not get worked up. So it's great when we have something that we can turn to calm ourselves down. But practicing these things daily, or whichever you choose, whatever resonates with you, you're probably already doing something now if you're watching this post. It will help you in the long run. So the more that you practice something every day that grounds you to the earth, grounds you spiritually, you'll be able to, it's like a skill. You'll grow the skill, and then you'll have it in that moment when that trigger happens. Not the tool, but it really actually, it retrains, I know I wrote this somewhere, but I don't see it. It retrains your neural pathways to react differently, to be able to respond differently. So doing some of these things regularly really helps with this. So some of the daily things, let's talk about these daily. And you want to make them, we can call them practices, we can call them rituals. Number one, I think, is connecting to the earth. I think that that's really important. And in the meditation we'll do at the end of this chat, I'll do this as well. So connecting to the earth, I like to imagine, this is going out in nature. This is experiencing a beach. This is experiencing a forest, a trail. Anything in nature, you're observing it, you're in it. And you can even connect to nature without being in nature. You can, in a meditation, ground yourself by growing roots out from your root chakra, down into the earth. Some people like to call that one way of grounding. And that's one beautiful way to connect to the earth. And even just feeling the ocean, feeling the mountains, feeling the air, feeling the sun. I think that that's really important, because we are living on this planet, and we are really one with it. And so I think it's important to connect to those energies and those vibrations to ground yourself. And the next one is connecting to, we'll say, God, spirit, angels, the universe, the higher self, whatever terms that you resonate with, use that. So connecting to something greater than yourself, that is that spiritual connection that will also keep you super grounded. And of course, prayer and meditation are wonderful. I've told you guys before, I can fall asleep at night just by praying. And then meditation, of course. So, I'm not going to talk about that, because there's so many different ways to do it. You can focus on your breath. You can do a guided meditation, which I think is wonderful, because if you have trouble sitting there trying not to think about anything, if that's not a skill that you have, which not many of us really do unless you're really highly practiced at meditation, then a guided meditation is going to be so much easier, so much better. I still love doing guided meditations myself. Mantras. Mantras are wonderful. You can use mantras for creating a life that you want to create. using statements that say that you have those things now, not that you want them, but saying that you are that and you have that. That is your reality. But also just mantras like we'll be doing some I am statements in our meditation today, and the I am statements, I am, is, and I originally read about these in Which is Fulfilled by Dr. Wayne Dyer, who's one of my favorite authors. And these statements, they are so powerful. They are so high vibration, especially whatever you put after that. So I am safe. I am perfect health. I am a divine being, or whatever. All those things are wonderful. And that can really ground you. And that can be a meditation, just sitting in a calm place, repeating those over and over again. You can do the same ones. You can do different ones, whatever really speaks to you there. And another thing that is a wonderful practice is earthing, which I'm sure you've heard of, is walking around outside barefoot. And how that helps is earthing is wonderful because you are putting the bottoms of your feet in contact with the earth. And I've heard experts say that the bottoms of the feet is really what is, like, you'll get the most amount of energy coming up through your feet versus just if you're leaning up against a tree. Now, leaning up against a tree is still going to do it, but I think it's the bottoms of the feet that are particularly helpful when it comes to grounding or earthing and walking outside. Okay, another one is Qigong and Tai Chi. I started doing Qigong a number of years ago in my late 20s, maybe 27 or so. And that was something that immediately helped me with my stress. I was working a very high stress job. My husband and I owned a CrossFit gym, and owning that business together was not together. It wasn't stressful because we owned it together. It was a stressful business in general. And this is one of the first things, and I was already a massage therapist and giving and receiving plenty of massages, but Qigong really helped me with my stress in that time of my life. And I've never really done Tai Chi, but Qigong is basically a sister of Tai Chi. You've seen like different Tai Chi forms. And Qigong is really just, it's a lot simpler. It's a lot easier to do. It's not as dynamic as Tai Chi, so it's easier to learn. And I'm a certified teacher, so if you're interested in learning more, just reach out to me and I'll give you some information, or we can do a session. And the last one is practicing yoga, which some of you probably already do. And yoga is wonderful because it gets that physical, and just like Tai Chi and Qigong, there's some physicalness happening, right? So anytime we can move our body physically, not just our mind, that we can really ground ourselves, connect spiritually, connect to ourselves, which I think is so, so important for reducing stress. And these arts of Qigong and Tai Chi and yoga, they really bring that mind, body, spirit connection together, and that is really what will help reduce stress, more than just somebody who practices only meditation daily. Getting your body involved is really a great way to ground your body and get that energy flowing, because sometimes we really do need to get that energy or chi or prana, whatever you want to call it, flowing. Move things around to clear things, and that's why they're so helpful. And another concept is journaling. I know you guys, these are all things that you've heard of before, right? And journaling, just free writing. If you are going through a trying time, something stressful, maybe you don't have a person that you can talk to a specific situation about, which can sometimes happen in the medical medium community, right? When we are healing from various chronic conditions, our friends and our family, we can only talk to them about it so much before they think we are a hypochondriac, or they think that we're obsessed or we're in a cult, right? So if you don't have a friend or a medical medium friend you can talk to about that kind of stuff, journaling, just getting those words out. You can leave something in your journal, or if you have to vent about something, you want to get angry, you want to write big, you want to write really hard, those can be pages that you can rip out and do a ritual of burning of those pages so that you are releasing and letting go of that stress. And that's really great to do. And then physical activity, you know, like I started mentioning before with the yoga, tai chi, and qigong, any kind of physical activity. So if your chronic fatigue or your fatigue in general isn't so bad, and you can go for a light jog or, you know, do some weights or whatever physical activity you like to do, hiking, walking, getting your body moving is really, really going to help stress in any way. So whatever physical activity that it is for you, whether it be gardening or, you know, walking, whatever it is, Zumba, if you're still into Zumba or whatever, any kind of physical activity. And then strengthening your intuition, I think, is really, really huge for improving our resilience to stress, because when we can trust ourselves, we can help ourselves navigate through a tough time, because it means that we have less worry about the future. You know, it's about being okay with uncertainty. And that in and of itself is a huge concept, being okay with uncertainty. Like right now, we are all so uncertain about what the state of the world is going to be next week, a month from now, 6 months from now, a year from now. We are uncertain. So being okay with feelings like that and accepting them is huge. So even if a situation causes you to create some of those feelings that we associate as negative, such as fear, anger, resentment, sadness, grief, the more we can accept those feelings and allow them to be. Let's feel those. Let's not get locked up in them. Let's not feel like they're the only things that are going on, but it's okay to feel them. Let them pass through you, because the more that they flow and pass through you, they will move out. They will move out of your energy field. So when it comes to your intuition, get back on track here after that, you can, one exercise that I really like is sitting in a meditative space and asking questions and listening for that first gut answer. So not thinking about an answer, but really listening to what's coming to you first thing. What is the first thing that you feel? And often you will get an answer before you even finish mentally asking the question. And that is how you know when something is in your intuition versus something that you are coming up with mentally. If you ever have a session or see a psychic work, they sometimes, like James Van Praagh, he goes really, really fast, right? You know, he's receiving the information so quickly, but you know, it's because he's receiving it from that intuitive place. He doesn't even really have to ask the question before he gets that answer. The answer is there because he puts out the energy of asking that question. And one last thing is remembering to smile. Finding moments throughout the day to feel gratitude. Gratitude can be a whole thing of itself, because gratitude is so high vibe that when you step into that feeling of gratitude, not just thinking about, oh, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that, letting it sit with you and feeling that gratitude, that should make you smile too. And really feeling and thinking about why you're grateful for something or someone. And it's in that feeling of gratitude where we manifest more of those things to come to us. And so finding moments throughout the day to feel gratitude and to smile. And, you know, don't just do these things once a day. Yes, it's great to start out with doing something once a day, but if you can do it twice a day, if you can find little spots within your day to center yourself, to ground yourself, connect to spirit or the universe, Connect to something, connect to that gratitude, connect to yourself, your higher self, where you just smile. Connect to that throughout your day, and doing all of these things regularly will help you in that moment when you're presented with something that has the potential to stress you out. You are a little bit more trained, your brain is different, you're more connected, and you won't have a strong stress response. You won't have that stressful reaction because you have trained yourself to stay within yourself before you get taken away from whatever stressful situation it is. So let's go ahead and finish off with our guided meditation. And yeah, so find yourself in a comfortable position, whether you'd like to sit or lie down. Get whatever props you might need, a folded up blanket or a meditation pillow. And as you settle in, take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And again, in through your nose. And bring your breath into your belly, allow your belly to expand. And as you exhale, draw your belly button in towards your spine. And in your next breath, see if you can really soften your entire body. Bring your breath into those areas that might have some tension. And then with every exhale, release and relax even more. And now I want you to close your eyes if they're not shut already. And I want you to smile from your heart. You can smile with your face too, but make it a smile from your heart. And if that's difficult for you, think about something that makes you happy, that brings you joy, or that makes you feel gratitude. And feel it in your heart. And now place your attention onto your root chakra, which is located at the very base of your body, located on your perineum. And the color associated with your root chakra is red. So imagine that bright red, vibrant light emanating from your root chakra. And then imagine that you have roots from you and your root chakra down to the earth. Grow roots deep, deep into the earth. And now draw up that earth energy right up into you. Absorb it. That is an abundant energy that is there for you whenever you need it. And allow it to fill up your root chakra. Allow it to flow past your sacral chakra, your solar plexus chakra, and your abdomen. And you can even bring it all the way up to your heart chakra. And now bring your attention to the crown of your head, which is your crown chakra. And the color associated with that is a bright, beautiful white or a lavender. Choose whichever resonates with you. And imagine that this white light becomes an upside down pyramid where it opens up wide to divine energy, to God, to the universe, to your higher self. And your crown chakra is open. And you are taking down and absorbing that infinite energy of the divine. And this is energy that you have access to forever, 24/7. And you can imagine that energy, you can bring it down through your third eye chakra on your forehead, through your throat chakra, down into your heart. Now you're drawing up earth energy and you're drawing down divine energy. And they're filling up your heart, filling you up first. And you can feel this in your heart with either a green light, or we can do a pink light, which is a combination of the red and the white. And so your heart chakra is emanating this beautiful pink or green light. And now you have filled up so much that you're able to give this loving energy to others. So now imagine this, your heart chakra and this pink or green light emanating out further and further from you. And allow this loving energy to be received by those who need it. In the form of love, in the form of gratitude, in the form of compassion or appreciation. Send that out. And now when you're ready, draw your energy back in. Draw that pink or green light closer and closer to you, just so that it's no more than a foot away from you. And we can tighten up our chakra valves. So our root chakra, our heart chakra, and crown chakra. Imagine that you have valves. And you can just tighten the valves a little bit, where nothing's pouring in or pouring out, but there is an exchange happening. If you want to be able to reserve some for yourself, but you also want to stay open to be giving to others. And go ahead and take another nice deep breath as we finish, really bringing this breath down deep into your abdomen. And know that you can connect to this space anytime. And before you open your eyes and call it a day with this meditation, I want you to think about what your intention is going to be once you leave this meditation. Is this an intention for how you want to live your life? An intention for how you want to feel? An intention for how you want to be? Create one in your mind and have it with you. And keep this intention with you throughout the rest of your day, throughout your week, throughout your month. Maybe when you get up, write it down so that it's there and fresh, that you see it every day. And go ahead and place your hands over your eyes so that as you open your eyes, you can blink them open and pat your eyes open so that the light isn't so strong. Your body can get used to it. And I want to thank you for being here with me and sharing this space with me. I hope that you found all this information valuable and that you're able to carry it with you throughout your life. And as well as the meditation, you can come back to this anytime. And let me know if you guys have any questions. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. And I'm wishing you all the safety and health and that we can have during this time. So thank you.